a slight delay. Okay. Okay, yeah, thank you. Um, yeah. What you think about the full screen versus the other stuff? Your thoughts since you on here. So stay here. You can tell I got a little bow tie on. I'm crazy talking a lot on here, but excuse me. You know, it's loud. Oh, yeah, so you think full screen works better than all those moving backgrounds and all that other stuff? All right, cool. I got another one too. Well, since it's just you and me right now, I can just show you all this crap. I'm not gonna edit it out. So if somebody winds up wanting to join, it's another little setup where it goes to hash screen. Whoop, 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 whoop. But since I don't have nobody in there now, you can't see them on the other half of the screen. So, well, back to the other setup. I kind of do like it too. You know what I mean? So I try not to fill up the screen with a bunch of different stuff, but you see everything. See, this is what I'm talking about. Let me know if you see this on the screen. It say Anthony Howell has shared your screen. I'll share my own screen. That's wild talk. It's crazy talk, really. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's what don't show up on the screen when you share. So that's one of the things that I'll be tripping on. All right,
All
so we're
right,
gonna
so
get
we're
this
gonna get this
party
party
started.
started.
Um, Welcome to another episode. I really didn't set up anything where I'd be reading someone else's energy tonight, but I decided maybe I'll read my own for everybody, but we'll get there. The main thing that I kind of want to talk about right now is something I've been dealing with on my own. So we've talked about it a couple of times. This came up, but it seems to show itself in several different ways in life. So I want to talk about it again, and it is. Watch me pop it up on the screen for you. Intentions. Do do do. So big, it looks intense, doesn't it? Right? Okay, excuse me. So when I talk about it, it's funny. So a conversation about intentions can take me all over the place. But I know one of the things that I say about intentions is that intentions don't really matter. And I guess part of this conversation is going to help you understand why I say that. It's not that the intentions don't matter, they do. But what really matters more, or what winds up having greater weight, is the outcomes of those intentions. You know what I mean? And when I was growing up, one of my mother's favorite phrases has always been, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." And as a kid, I didn't quite understand that, but as I got a little older and time progresses and got a little more experience, you begin to see the truth in the statement of the road to hell is paved with good intentions, which essentially just kind of means that um, it just basically kind of means that even with the best intentions, you can create somewhat of a personal hell for someone. Okay? And then I have an example, and then I have the issue that I've necessarily been dealing with for the past week myself. You know what I mean? So when I said I wanted to do this, um, I said I definitely wanted to put a part of my process on Front Street so people can see it. And I know when I do these readings, I ask a lot of vulnerability from other people. And, I may show videos of myself, which kind of shows my certain level of vulnerability. But Um, you know, I also feel like I need to show certain levels of vulnerability on live. I'm trying to get that ring out. Okay, thank you very much. Hey, you know what? That's funny that you said that, cause you know something else I got on here. Think about it, tell me what you think. I put it. I didn't show it on the screen. I got distracted. Follow goal. Ooh, 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 ooh. But anyway, so in learning that, I got a couple examples. So I remember I got this job working as an executive director, and the ironic thing about I work in early education, and the ironic thing about that is there is very clear reasons on why there aren't a lot of men in education. And one of the things that I can say is education isn't always a safe space for male educators. You know what I mean? And one of the things that we have to deal with a lot, whether it be true or not, is this idea of us being some sort of pervert, or we're reckless, we can't control ourselves, and you know what I mean? And it's funny because, like I said, in working in this field, I wound up being able to interact with various people, and I get to see what their actual thoughts of men are because they show me, they interact with me in ways on how they actually think of men. So I had this one employee who, and it's funny because this isn't even the first time this has happened in my career. This is just the most recent. Who one of the things that she would do is she was saying that I was sleeping with all the staff, right? And that was a lot of women. So it was probably 40 different women. So, when I do a couple of push ups and I like to eat my vegetables and stuff like that, but man, listen, I am not capable of having sex with 40 different women at one period of time. I'm not even finna play myself like I'm some sort of superhero. But in her mind, that's what she was going around and telling people. And I remember I talked to our HR person and I was telling them, I think one of the only reasons they're doing this is because I'm a man, right? So our HR person was very slack. So of course, I wound up having, as the executive director, I wound up having to handle the situation myself. So the first time I get this woman in the, oh, this Twitch stuff. Okay, that's interesting. So I don't even know if those real people. Let me figure out how I'm gonna stop. You see that? Oh, there it goes up on screen. So it's only Twitch that shows on screen. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Faith. I'm distracted because somebody is commenting on Twitch, and it kind of shows up on the screen right there, but you really can't see it. But anyway, talking with wound up sitting with the woman, and I talked to her when she sits down. She tells me how, you know what I mean. She's so excited that a man is in this position, and so forth and so forth, and she prays for me. You know what I mean. And I say this. I find how people use God's name very interesting. You know what I mean? And a lot of times people get a lot of slack for saying God damn, and that's blasphemous, that's using the Lord's name in vain. But I wind up thinking situations like this is way more detrimental to a spiritual healthiness. So of course she was like, I prayed for you to have this position and all of this other stuff and so forth and so forth, and so then we get down to it, and she's saying, she feels responsible to the women that we supervise, and she feels responsible to make sure that they're protected, and she feels like, she never really trusted men in her life until she met her husband and all of this. So even though she's praying for me to have this position, she has good intentions in sensing that she feels like she needs to protect all these women. And by her doing that, with her good intentions, she was creating a personal hell for me because it wasn't true, you know what I mean? But it was something that she was trying to spread around the community. Even some of our partners had said that she had told her things of that nature, and it was a wow thing. And at the same time, she saw me more as a threat than some of the people who were real threats. But that was an example of people having good intentions and creating a personal hell for others. And then the next thing was for with what I do with this. So in the most, I mean, easiest said, I go into this healing process with good intentions. I have the best intentions where I'm trying to, help people and heal myself and all these things. So this week I finally got my, I might take that off because the only chat box that actually shows is goddamn Twitch. So over the last couple of weeks, I finally got my first bad review for. Listen, you know how. So the question was, how does she think protecting women with a bold-faced lie was a good idea? It kind of actually ties back into that pain identity. So for her, her identity was on pain, and no man was trustworthy. And this was a woman that moved like the only trustworthy man in the world is her husband. You know what I mean? But you can tell she has a lot of trauma and a lot of experiences that she never dealt with. So she's moving within, for lack of better words, within her lower self, and she's moving within a fear mindset. So, and it was funny because in the conversation, I say to her, I'm like, yo, do you really think a man at this age, what was it, 42, I don't know, 42, and has no kids, gets there by just being reckless and having sex with everybody? And she was like, well, no, but, and you would think after one conversation that she would stop that. No, she did not stop that. But you can't lie on people like that and think some sort of consequences won't come back. And she wound up getting caught in her own thing and, having an interesting, she wound up just getting caught in her own thing and creating more drama for herself that could have been avoided if she wasn't moving in such a fearful mindset. Because that fear mindset also makes you sneaky. You know what I mean? Because you don't trust people, so you're always doing stuff in silence, which winds up looking sneaky from the outside looking in. So back to my bad review. So, generally everybody I come to and I do these readings and all that stuff, they are like, wow, this is a great experience. I've learned so much. You've opened me up to ideas and all these things. And I was, it's one person where only thing I've actually done is their energy reading. So they haven't had any Reiki where I'm laying hands. They haven't had any ceremonies. They haven't. I ain't came through there playing my ukulele. None of that stuff has gone on yet. But I've read their energy. You know what I mean? And I suggested that maybe they should try to do a ceremony or do some Reiki to try to help release some of the things that energy reading brings up. Because the one thing about the energy readings, it's not like it does something weird, but it does make you aware. And if there are things that you are trying not to be aware of, once it's brought to your attention, it's hard to act like it's not aware. So like if I read your energy and I get a vibe that you got low self-esteem, you cannot go back into the world like you never heard that. You know what I mean? So you do hear it. And the person felt as though that their life was better before they even got the reading. And that kind of hurt my feelings for lack of better words, and not necessarily offensive, but it did hurt my feelings because of my intentions. You see, because I know I come out here with the best intentions to hurt people, and when you move in good intentions, it's easy for you not to pause and see how you may create personal hells for other people. So even when they told me that, my feelings were hurt a little bit because I know, you know what I mean? You know a lot of stuff about people in doing this, and I know they had a lot of things going on, but I felt as though that was an opportunity where I felt as though at that point they were blaming me and the work that I have done for whatever they may be dealing with at this moment. And that's not to belittle what they're dealing with. That's just to still respect their privacy. You know what I mean? Because that's what this is really about. It's really still respecting people's privacy. So, after they told me that, you know what I mean? They was like, I just felt like I was better off. I've been feeling certain types of ways that I don't like to feel. I've been treating people certain types of ways that I don't like to treat people, and I don't want to deal with this. You know what I mean? And it's ironic. I haven't talked to that person since then, which I definitely understand. But it took me a real week to process that because, like I said, initially my feelings were necessarily hurt, but I was thinking about my intentions. But then when I stopped and think about how can my good intentions create a personal help for somebody, one of the things that I said is once you are made aware of these things, you really can't go back to as though they have not been said or you haven't heard them or any of those things. You just can't take that step back and opening that up. You know what I mean? So what I've learned, opening it up can be a lot for a lot of people. So what I've learned in this, I meet kind of three people. I meet those who are ready and they on fire. I meet those who think they are ready and they may do something or and find out it may be too much for them, or they never even get to the process of doing anything. They just kind of close to it, still trying to observe. And then there are those people who really, 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 really ain't trying to deal with none of that. They good, you know what I mean? They comfortable. They have the coping skills that they want. You know what I mean? And they move on. So for the most part, I've really been interacting with people who don't want it, which I understand, and people who do want it. You know what I mean? And then I've gotten a little bit of experience with people who kind of want it, but this was like my real first example because once we started opening up some things, it can be a little overwhelming where you may not have the time or the emotional availability to process some of the things that come up in this. You know what I mean? And so with me taking myself out the situation, putting my ego to the side, I really did have to respect, and I had to talk to a couple of friends as well too. So like I said, this healing thing isn't a solo thing. It winds up being a little bit with everybody. And talking to a couple of friends and put my ego aside, and I really had to understand how I may have that experience a little bit more, and I don't necessarily need to take it as a personal thing. I just need to understand what my mama taught me since I was a kid. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. And then another thing, correct. So common is some people are ready to do the work and some people are not. You know what I mean? And that is true. So that's generally what I've been dealing with, the people who are ready and then the people who are not. Because I've had somebody like look me dead in my face and was like, Listen, I'm not trying to heal. I don't want to do any of that stuff. Like, you know what I mean? So, and I've had people that be like, let's go. You know, they, as a matter of fact, they're doing all the plant ceremony, they gun ho, they doing everything all at once to make sure. And like I was saying, I really haven't had a lot of interaction with the people in the middle ground. You know what I mean? Hell, I've even had more interactions with people trying to use this to get close to me intimately than I've had with the people who are, I don't want to say that they're not ready, but they're kind of on that, they're kind of like a little, the verge of readiness, you know what I mean? Where it's starting to percolate up right before the whistle goes off, and you know it's time to go ahead and pour your tea. So yeah, I do. Yes, it is. It is for those who are ready to do the work. You know what I mean? And but also, like I was saying in this process, it was it's me doing the work for myself too. And it's funny, you know what I mean? I don't I don't always think it's that simple. You know what I mean? Because it definitely is about who needs to do the work, but I think it's really about who has the courage, who has the emotional availability. You know what I mean? And even as simple as this, because the people who do the most, in my outward opinion, are the ones who are just tired. They are so tired. Like I'm tired of whatever they are tired of. You know what I mean? So like I was saying, you know, part of this process is me healing as well. So I like to put that on Front Street. So hence we're having this conversation. And in talking about intentions, one of my intentions that I didn't really share with other people, but one of my intentions in this process is for me to be able to love myself more, right? And that's generally like a general phrase that people say, but when you start asking like, how do you love yourself more? You know what I mean? For concrete examples, it can get great because it's hard for people to quantify that, for a lack of better words, or actually put tangible things to that because it can be a lot of intangible things. You know what I mean? So one of the things that with my intentions through this process I had to learn is I have to give myself a little more grace. And that came through a conversation with a friend. Because I was talking about this healing stuff, and when you're trying to help people, whatever they're trying to do, you know what I mean? It's easy for a person like me to insert myself into their own personal journey. So I was sitting around talking about where I seen that, and I was going in on it, right? And my friend was like, well, you know, when you did the ceremony, you kind of messed it up for me a little bit because you inserted yourself in this one place, right? And again, I had the best intentions on when I did that, but I didn't see how it could actually mess it up for someone else. You know what I mean? Because I was moving on my intuition and all of that stuff. And what I understood from what she was saying is you have to give yourself a little grace, right? And the funny thing about that is she was telling me so to give myself grace so I can apply that to other people. Because at that point, I wasn't able to even give someone else grace. And that's partially because that's something I don't give myself. You know, we can be hard on ourselves. Our most critical person can be ourselves. You know what I mean? And I have a lot going on now, like everybody else, and I'm trying to make something happen. And, you know, a lot of balls in the air, and it's easy for me not to take the step of loving myself by being a little more graceful, being patient with myself. And I'm learning that one of the reasons I struggle with giving these to people at times is because I don't have it for myself. Like, if you know me, man, when I'm on fire, I'm a wiry dude. One of my staff members used to call it squirrely. I had never heard. He's like, yeah, I got a Cynthia. She's kind of squirrely, squirrely. I got it. I got it. So it was ironic, and talking about somebody else on how this intention circle keeps overlapping. Because even in my best intentions, I can make mistakes. You know what I mean? And create personal hell. But knowing that you have to be in a place to be able to give yourself grace. Because on this path, even though now you might be moving in an energy that is more positive and you want to be helpful, you're still going to make mistakes, or you may wind up causing serious. Okay. Let me know if you still hear that. You might end up causing inadvertent issues for other people. So, and when you do that, you got to be able to forgive yourself and give yourself a little bit of grace, which is a good thing. So I thank you for that conversation and how it helped me grow a little bit inside, and me sharing a little bit of my life lessons about intentions and giving yourself grace. So now the next thing I was going to do was, like I said, I'm always asking other people to be so vulnerable and come on here and have this strange man with well, today I got on my bow tie because today I do a little consulting sometimes. Whether it be nonprofit, whether it be grants, whether it be environmental health and safety. I do a little consulting on time, and somebody was interviewing me today for a consulting opportunity. So I had to put my little razzle dazzle on, and that I got the bow tie. But I'm always asking people to be vulnerable on live with strangers and all these random people. But I also want to share that too. So today, instead of reading someone else, I'm going to read myself. And wish me luck, because I'm definitely going to be honest and vulnerable. Change my words for today. So for today, just for today, I will let go of anger. So instead of worrying about worry, we're going to let go of anger. We're going to take it one day at a time. So just for today, I will let go of anger. And it's funny that that is the same. Okay, so before I do my reading, I got a question about what are some practical ways to block and unblock energy points that are blocked. Well, the main way you can do that is have me do your energy reading. No, I'm just kidding. It honestly really depends on where you're blocked at. So first, the easiest thing that I really can say is try to find out where you blocked at. Otherwise, you'll just be moving through life, which is ironic why I want to do my reading, because I feel a little off and working on this self-love, loving myself more. You'd be amazed on how often I use this on other people and not myself anymore, because I'm in that routine of helping other people and forgetting myself. But what you laughing at, Michelle? It really depends on what you're trying to do. So I always, I've consistently been saying it's like doing stuff to connect with your childhood, but sometimes it's getting with friends. So the other weekend I got with friends. I probably post this on TikTok or something. And we did an escape room, and an escape room allowed me to work on my crown because I'm thinking, and then escape room sometimes you gotta go with your intuition, and then if you overthink you mess up, so it's working on my intuition. I'm talking with my friends and stuff, so I gotta be able to communicate. I'm working on my communication. It really didn't work on my part that bad because I'm ice cold. I'm just kidding, but stuff like that, and then so like the other things that I'm saying, like stuff to bring your passion back. Wine and food pairings and things like that. Or if which you probably are familiar with, on Thursdays I read the people. And one of the reasons I started the book club Thursday is because I worked with children and families. And at one point in my life, I was a 4-year-old teacher, and I worked directly in the classroom with kids for several years. And one of the things that I know, like I said, kids are crazy about people really do them. They love it. They love it. They love it. They love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And I was an avid reader, so for me, connecting to something like that, starting to read again, was a way to start unblocking my chakras. But the thing about it is, at this point, when you're doing that, you definitely do have to add, for lack of better words, a little razzle dazzle. So I did a reading earlier this week, and it was another avid reader as well. And what I suggested them do is something that I do on the Thursday night book club. Make it a more an event instead of a hobby. Because most of the time when people read, they might sit down in the quiet little corner and do their thing. But set you up some nice mood lighting, have you a nice little scent, get you some snacks, have you a drink, make it sexy. Hell, even do it in a bubble bath. You know what I mean? Stuff like that that calms your spirit. Like I said, I like food. Some people, to them, cooking is therapeutic. So God bless you. You know what I mean? Get in there and cook. You know what I mean? For me, eating is therapeutic. I'm such a fat guy, not any fat guy body, but listen, if you want to talk about snacks and delicious food, you can call me at any time. And I'm ready. I remember one day my homeboy was like, hey, I got a new snack for you. You should get some croissants and some strawberries and some whipped cream and put them together like a sandwich. You know, you already know. And I was like, that does sound delicious. But you know, so what? You like snacks? That's you. I see. Hey, Patrice. Long time no see. But yeah, I bet you do like snacks. I know you love. But those are some things you can do, and really just honestly just ask what you can do and do some research and tap into some other people. People give you some suggestions. You know what I mean? Like I said, some of this I've learned on the process too. So you know we're learning together. You know what I mean? And these are the things I learned. And when I learn new activities, I definitely will post it. But anyway, we did the escape room, and we did terrible because we did a whole lot of overthinking. So we got out of there with 3 minutes and 16 seconds left, and then we went and had some amazing, amazing, amazing vegan Chinese food. And it's a full Chinese restaurant, so you can go in there and get General Tso's chicken if you want, or whatever. But it's all vegan, so it's one of the few restaurants that you can go in and eat how you want to if you're vegan, and if you're not vegan, you can still enjoy the food. Because I definitely love, I think they have some of the best fried rice in Charlotte outside of Super G. I think that's Super G on Independence. You go up in that Super G on Independence, man, they got some fried rice up in there for you. But Mama Wops is, yeah, doing their thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, nourish your body with some good healthy food. So that's another way to start blocking up. You know what I mean? And yeah. So okay, gonna read. See how my mind is funny. So I had for the first time this week, I had somebody actually pick the blue pendulum, right? So I had to explain to them why I got a blue and a purple. So for the most part, like I told you, I learned my colors. Purple was for pain, and blue was for anger. And low key, I've been feeling like this little, excuse me, angry energy, and I don't know where it's coming from. You know, I'm always slightly angry, so I know what my anger feels like, but I don't feel like it's just mine. But I do know I'm off in certain ways, so I'm just gonna put my business on Front Street like I ask everybody else to do. So since I know I'm dealing with some anger, I'm gonna pick the angry pendulum. So I'm gonna start with my crown. You see how my crown doing. All right. So I got a little spin. It looks like I'm using my brain, which is funny because I tried to read it earlier and my crown was down. But probably because I just woke up from a nap. And let me tell you something. I'm one of those people that when I wake up from sleep, it takes me an hour for my brain to start working. So don't start asking me a ton of questions. But right now it's working a little bit. I guess I'm thinking, I'm talking to you all. Thank you all. This is one way to help balance your crown. It allows me to share and think and all those things. So, blind proof, I promise you, that thing was sitting still earlier. Um, yeah, I'm actually feeling kind of good with my crown. I'm very aware of my individuality. Um, okay, so I do have a little bit of cravings going on. And I would say definitely some craving attention, but the attention isn't like this, like intimacy. You know what I mean? I need some feminine attention in a very interesting way, because not necessarily sexually. Just come over here and rub my feet, and we be all good. So if there's any volunteers, hey Patrice, welcome for joining us. Would you like to rub some feet? No, I'm just kidding. That's what I necessarily need, something like that. But overall, that's doing pretty good. Yeah, my intuition was off earlier too, but again, it might have been because I was asleep. So let's see how my intuition is doing. All right, so I guess my intuition is still off. As you saw, it didn't move at all. And it's funny because of all things, I think this is one of the ones that I'm struggling with the most. Because I'm such a thinker that I just naturally have a tendency to even second guess my own thoughts. So when I get a feeling sometimes, I just be like, well, I don't know. I want to be comfortable. And it was funny because I want to be fair, respectful. Sometimes I'll be too worried about that. And even when I get a feeling to be like, do this, I'm like, I don't know. And it's funny because I had a friend tell me one of my issues, like when I'm doing the Reiki, they was like, you just need to trust yourself and go with it. But man, that is so hard for me because that is such an intimate place that you have and a vulnerable place that you have people in. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that they feel comfortable. And in making sure that they feel comfortable, sometimes I have to second guess myself. So like if my intuition tell me, rub their feet, and they don't really like their feet rubbed, I'm going to second guess my intuition on touching their feet. And actually touching their feet might be exactly what they need. You know what I mean? That root chakra, people do need root chakra balancing, and I have to give that. So yeah, it's a real thing for me. You know what I mean? Um, I definitely am going through that, and then with your intuition, man, it's a whole lot of sight unseen with that thing. You know what I mean? So you just have to trust. Like, I'm in this process where I'm trying to build something, and every single day, girl. I mean, man, listen, every single day, I don't know how it's going to work. You know what I mean? But I just remain faithful, and I'm just like, oh my God. So even when my intuition like, you gotta do this, I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? But it's a struggle for me, and I really do still struggle a lot with trusting myself. You know what I mean? I guess it's one of those grace. Like I trust my intellect fully. You know what I mean? Because I can research that. That's tangible. I can do the work for that. But that intuition, as much as I tell other people to trust theirs, is an issue I have too. So now I'm going to do my throat chakra. Yeah, it doesn't lie. Your intuition, your intuition doesn't lie. You can be jaded where you're not intuitively clear. And the thing that I really want to know, because your intuition doesn't lie, it can have you in some very interesting situations. You know what I mean? And you have to be careful with that. Like, you know what I mean? Hey, Sherry. Hey,
Hey,
listen.
listen.
Okay,
Okay.
Sherry, we
Sharon,
ain't
we
said
ain't
no
said no
names,
names,
but I
but I
told the
told the
story.
story.
At one
At
point,
one point,
Sherry and I
Sharon and
worked
I worked
together.
together.
But I ain't
But
say
I
no
ain't say no
names.
names.
So, but you
So,
gonna
but you gonna
co-sign
co-sign.
on this. But I
But I
told the
told the
story
story
about
about
someone
someone
accusing me of
accusing me of
having
having
slept with
slept with
all of
all
the
of the
female
female
staff, and I
staff.
told
And I
them it was
told him it
like
was like
40
40
people,
people,
and it ain't
and it
no
ain't
way.
no
As good
way.
as
As good
I
as I
am, like I
am, like
eat
I
my
eat my
greens and I
greens
do
and
my
I do my
push-ups,
push-ups,
man.
man.
40
40
women. Hey,
women.
what
Hey,
I
what
tell
I tell
people,
people,
you know what's
you know
worse
what's
than
worse than
one
one
headache?
headache?
40. I
40.
wouldn't
I
even
wouldn't even
choose that,
choose
but she
that, but
went
she went
ham on
ham
me.
on me.
And
And
true
true
story.
story.
So
So
it's interesting
it's
working
been
in this
working in this
field
field
sometimes.
sometimes.
So we
So we
had this
had this
coworker
co-worker who
who she took a shine to
signed
me.
to me.
And it was
And it was
interesting
interesting
because
because
I remember
I
one
remember
day she
one day
came to
she
me
came
with
to me
this
with this
ultimatum.
ultimatum.
And
And
she
she
said
said,
if
if
I
I
don't
don't
marry
marry
her,
her,
she was
she was
going
going to
to quit her
quit her
job.
job.
And I was
And I was
like,
like, yo,
I don't think you should do that. Don't put your
don't put your
job,
job,
don't place
don't
your
place your
job on
job
me.
on me.
You know what I
You know what I mean?
mean? But she
But she
did.
did.
Needless to
Needless to
say,
say,
she wound
she
up having
wound
to
up
quit
having to
that
quit that
job
job
because
because
would I like
would
to
I
be
like to
married?
be
Yeah,
married?
one
Yeah,
day.
one day.
But I
But I
definitely wasn't
definitely
gonna
wasn't
marry
gonna marry
nobody who
nobody
gave
who
me an
gave me an
ultimatum like,
ultimatum
if you
like,
don't
if
marry
you
me,
don't
I'm
marry
gonna
me, I'm
quit
gonna
my
quit my
job.
job.
Good luck
Good
to
luck
you.
to you.
But let me tell you
But let me tell
something.
you something.
That
That
girl
girl
hated
hated
Sherry.
Sherry.
Anytime she
Anytime
saw
she
me
saw me
talking to
talking to
Sherry, she'd be like,
Sherry,
I
she's like,
see
I
you
see
talking
you
to
talking to
your
your
love
love
bug.
bug.
Love bug,
Love
funny.
bug, funny.
But
But
anyway,
anyway,
back
back
to
to
why
I
wasn't
wasn't
that?
that.
Throat
Throat
chakra.
chakra.
Hey,
Hey,
Sherry, you had me
Sherry, you had me
distracted for a
distracted for
second
a
talking
second. Talk
about
about
love
love
bug
bug
and
and
bullshit.
bullshit.
Okay, let me see
Okay,
how
let
I'm
me see
doing
how
if
I'm
I'm
doing if
talking
I'm talking
good.
good.
All right. All right, as you see, it's
It's
struggling a
struggling a
little
little
bit.
bit.
And it's funny because
Because
it's honestly kind of true. I got
I
some
got some
feelings that
feelings
I'm
that I'm
dealing with
dealing with
right
right
now
now
that
that
I'm
I'm
not quite
not quite
communicating. In the
um
sense, and it's funny because I was on the fence if I was even going to bring this up on this show, but it's intentions again. I
I
thought,
thought
you know,
you know
I had
I had
intentions to
intentions to
build
build
something. You know what I mean? I'll do something with some people, and
and
their
their
intentions
intentions
are a
are a
little
little
bit
bit
very
very
different
different
than
than
mine.
mine.
You know what I mean?
And
And because I
because
care
I
for this
care for this
person
person
or I care
or
for
I care
these
for these
people,
people,
you know, a
you
lot
know,
of
a lot of
times it
times
makes
it
it
makes
easier
it
for you
easier
to
for you
bite
to
your
bite your
tongue
tongue
in
and
sake
sake
for their
for their
feelings.
feelings.
So
So
I can
I can
definitely
definitely
see
see
how,
how,
although I'm
although I'm
communicating very
communicating very
thoroughly like
thoroughly
this,
like this,
and you should even
and you
see
should
me
even see
earlier
me
with
earlier
that
with that
consultant thing. I
consultant
was
thing.
in
I was
that,
in
man, you know
man,
you're
you know
doing
you're doing
good
good
in an
in an
interview where the
interview
people
with the people
forget that
forget
it's an
that it's an
interview
interview
and they
and they
start
start
telling you
telling you
about their
about
life.
their
So I
life. So
learned
I
about
learned
their
about their
daughter, all
daughter,
type
all
like
type
you know what I
like
mean? Like, hey, like we're just having a conversation. So I'm communicating well on a lot of things, but where it's
where it's
showing up,
showing
I'm
up. I'm
still
still
totally with my
totally
throat
with my
being
throat being
off. I'm
off. I'm
still
still
not
not
communicating some
communicating
of the
some of the
things that
things that
I
I
definitely
definitely
do
do
need to
need to
communicate.
communicate.
And not
And
even
not
just
even
that,
just
because
that,
I'm
because
dealing
I'm dealing
with
with
heartstring
heartstring
emotions and
emotions and
all
all
types of
types
things.
of
Like,
things.
it's
Like
all
it's
types
all
of
types
things
of
that
things
are
that are
going on
going
with me
on
that
with me
I'm
that I'm
not
not
necessarily saying.
saying.
So it
So
makes
it
sense
makes
how
sense how
that's
that's
showing up in my throat. Solar
solar
plexus,
plexus.
I've been
I've been
gassy like
gassy like
hell, so
hell,
I
so
figure
I
something
figured
gonna be
something gonna be
showing up,
showing
but
up,
I don't
but I
think
don't
that's
think
my
that's my
gas. I
gas.
think
I think
somebody I'm
somebody else
connected to is
connected to is
gassy,
gassy.
so
So
they
they
keep
keep
me
me
burping. Thank
burping.
God
Thank
it's
God it's
out the
out
attic
the
and not
attic
the
and not the
basement. I know
basement.
that's
I know
probably
that's probably
TMI and y'all don't really care, but go see it though.
though.
Okay, solar
Solar
plexus.
plexus.
All right. So yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
trying
it's
to
trying to
move, but
move,
it's
but it's
barely
barely
moving.
moving.
Yeah, I hear
Yeah, I
you.
hear you.
Let me tell you
Let me tell you
something.
something.
When you
When you
start
start
trying to
trying to
stream
stream
online
online
you're gonna get bombarded with haters. And sometimes they're going to hate some of your favorite delicious drinks like Izzy. I don't know if okay, so if you see the book club, I showed that Izzy and I talked great about Izzy. It is carbonated juice, so I love it, especially when you try to get off of soda. Not to say that I drink a lot of soda anyway. I drink soda so infrequently that I feel like I'm gonna celebrate the day and I get a pineapple. And my staff used to laugh at me like, "That's the you supposed to get a strong soda, and you show up with pineapple Fanta." I'm like, "Hey, it's strong enough for me." But yeah, I don't drink a lot of soda. I'm going crazy, but yeah. So don't mind the haters in the comments, especially if you're on Facebook, because that's just what they do. They just heat and heat and heat and heat. Okay, so that's my throat. I probably didn't communicate it, but I'll figure out some way to do that. My heart, I feel like it's on fire. So we gonna see. I feel like that is doing good. All right, come on now, don't embarrass me in front of everybody. All right. So it does got a big circle, which is interesting because probably if I'd have read my heart on live 2 months ago, man, I felt like what's that Omarion song? I got an ice box where my heart used to be. I know in that record class they probably thought I was a woman hater, but I was like, nah, I ain't no hater. You know what I mean? I just need space and time to heal. So I definitely took some of that. So it makes sense that my heart is a little open now. You know what I mean? I'm optimistic. I believe there are good chances of love. I'm sharing love. I'm receiving love. Like in this healing process, it really did make me prioritize loving myself. And in loving myself is making sure that the love I give is reciprocal. So in clearing out some of those other energies, I've actually have created a space for a reciprocal type of interaction. So generally the people that I'm interacting with now, they're giving me as much as I'm giving them. And sometimes they don't even know it, which makes it even better because they're humble people. So they don't always even recognize. But it's still people, man, listen. I can tell a mofo, no lie. It's people I can tell a mofo, I ain't got no job, I ain't working 17 years. And they'll still be like, can I get $5? Jesus, goddamn Christ, man. Holy shit. Excuse my language, but yeah. I really got over that entitlement stuff. Like I said, I'm feeling love. I'm giving love. I'm empathetic. I don't got no self pity. And it's funny, I think when my heart was closed a little bit, I was working on that fear of rejection, but now I just don't even give a fuck. Excuse my language, but yeah, I just don't even give a fuck. As a matter of fact, this is how much I don't give a fuck. When I did that interview, like in doing the consulting thing earlier today, I told them, I was like, look, I'm at this point in my career where I'm authentic and you just get what you get. So if you don't like how I'm talking, low siesta. You know what I mean? So yeah, now I don't reject whatever you want. So makes sense. I do feel good. Heart feels good. Solar plexus. Oh no, that's the gassy thing. You the one messing me up talking about the Izzy. What did that solar plexus say? I shouldn't have read your comment. You're so distracting. All right. So it says my solar plexus is doing nothing, so it's not the Izzy. Okay. Yeah. Woo. Okay, so I do still got respect for others and myself. I'm working on my confidence. Some of this and confidence is weird, cause like I was talking about my homeboy, I'm working on my confidence in this domain. So when it comes to my professional or other domains, I'm ignorantly confident in that sometimes. Like I don't even give a shit. Like I'm so confident. But this is new for me. Like being vulnerable, sharing myself, asking people to share themselves, that is woo. it's a struggle. So I'm definitely working on that. I'm a little more outgoing. I'm struggling with that a little bit. I'm always solving problems. I'm not calm at all. You know what I mean? I just present calm, but I had a friend just tell me the other day that like, yo, you need to calm down. You're a little wiry. And it's funny because I'm always, you know me, I'm not always, so mine's up, but I'm a high energy person, so I've even had somebody tell me that I need to calm down. I still got integrity. I'm not being stubborn. I'm not being, well, I might have been a little judgmental. Like I said, somebody definitely had to tell me, give yourself some grace so you can give other people some grace. You know what I mean? And, yeah, I don't give a shit what I definitely don't. Well, okay, so maybe I did have to feel a little issues with feeling taken advantage of, and that's not in life because yeah, you're not gonna take advantage of me. But I definitely was questioning that earlier, like what was my purpose in this dynamic if it's not going to continue like this? You know what I mean? Something I could have did on my own or groups with others. So yeah, that's the one that probably is that has my solar plexus a little messed up because I actually been thinking about this for weeks and I had been burping for weeks, so it might be my gas coming up out my stomach. So yeah, that's mine. But it ain't like I said, it's not overall. But I definitely have been asking that question for a specific thing. So okay, so let's see how my cycle is. I really don't want to put my sex life on out there in these shoots like that, but hey, here we go. See how my cycle doing. No doubt. Right. Cycle don't embarrass me. Okay, so you see it moving, but it's ticking like a clock. So yeah, so I definitely want to come and say you have backup. You won't have to do it alone. I'm definitely surrounded by support. I got support. My Reiki tribe, like even the people that you know what I mean. Like I just said, we just had some Chinese food. I got support of friends, old coworkers, and meeting new people. And as I introduce this to people, it winds up allowing other people to dive into their own gifts and they're feeling a little more confident in their thing. So I know my support system will grow even more, you know what I mean, as my tribe grows. And I know that may not have came off because I know I talked about me having support of someone at everything that I do. That was just talking about a new experience. I had never experienced that. But I've always had supportive people somewhere in my life, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's why I won't stop. You know what I mean? And even sometimes in this healing, you just, although I said it's a community thing and you need group, it is that. But those wind up being like your beacons of light, and they help guide you in the right direction. But ultimately, you still have to take the steps yourself. You gotta make that walk yourself. So, and that's where I'm at. So I'm surprised. I thought my sacral might do something a little different, but it got this tick, 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 tick motion. I know I am definitely working on my passion, and it's funny because I be battling with that. It's really ironic, you know what I mean, how much of my passion I lost over the years because I still remain passionate about. No, I wasn't even passionate about the work I was doing. Everything became somewhat of a routine, you know what I mean? And I think some of that came out when we talked about that idea of feeling safe. You know what I mean? So even in my dating life at those times, I wasn't necessarily dating in situations or dating women that those situations I actually felt emotionally safe to be myself. So you know, yeah, interesting. So like I said, it was moving in a little tick tock motion. So I was working on my passion. Sexually fulfilled. No. Because that's partly tied into my passion. So as I find my passion, that's going to allow me to work on my sexual fulfillment a little bit more. And I'm diving back in to my wants and my likes and stuff like that. Because hell, I haven't even been in a situation where my sexual pleasure actually fucking matters. Like, you know what I mean? As much as they talk about men can be selfish in the sexual environment, that is not a man thing. That is a people thing. It is not gender specific. And there are a lot of selfish women. You know what I mean? Like in my Reiki class, what they said, my Reiki teacher say women hold back two things. They hold back their tears and they hold back their orgasms. So, true shit. And all the women in the class was like, oh yeah, true, 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 true. Valid. You know what I mean? So, but making sure man is sexually fulfilled, a lot of people just boil that down to the availability of him having sex. Like, nah, but you know what I mean? It's more than sex. I need a little more than sex. So, yeah, I'm definitely working on my sexual fulfillment. One of the questions, one of the comments is, am I feeling safer now as opposed to when the question was asked? No. I still, but I don't think it's a process like that. You know what I mean? So I think what I'm doing now is that I'm aware of that and it's important. So now I'm analyzing the relationships and the people that I'm around to see if it's safe. You know what I mean? And it's good. I'm getting through that. So like I said, I joined the men's group and that definitely is a safe space to be able to communicate. And then I got my little healing tribe and that's a safe space. And then I got friends that I talk to. So I am analyzing to make sure I have these safe spaces. So then I can dive into them and allow myself to feel safe. I'm one of those people that I'm more concerned with making sure everyone else feels safe, that I'm not even worried about my own safety, which is an issue within itself. And again, we're not talking about a physical safety because your boys' hands is still classic, you know what I mean? And we in North Carolina, so you know they just passed a new law that you don't even need a license, you just go out there and get a gun. So you know, so we're not talking about physical safety, but we're talking about emotional safety. Excuse me, Jesus, you see what I mean? I'm gassy, that's my solar plexus. But talking about emotional safety and to be able to be emotionally vulnerable. All right, so do this last one, and I'm gonna wrap this crap up. So now it's my root chakra. We're gonna see if I'm feeling grounded, and I don't know. I'm gonna find out with y'all. Trust me. Okay, here we go. All right. So got a little action with my root. So, and that's not surprising because over the last couple of weeks, like I said, I got with some friends, did some chakra work, all that stuff, grounded, interacting with friends and stuff helps me to get grounded. You know, I started the book club, and if you watch me do that reading, you can see me, and my energy and my spirit just kind of go through it. Where that's been helping me ground. You know, I did the terrarium, so played in the dirt a little bit, so I've been doing things to help me remain grounded, which definitely makes sense with a lot of stuff going on with that full moon. People out here acting crazy. So, you know, all that stuff going on. I've definitely, yeah, I've been working on my grounding. I definitely feel alive. Okay, so my ego is still very big, so I'm probably need to work on that a little bit. Um, and I still got a little bit of unsureness going on, so I'll probably have to work on that a little bit too. But you know, we're all working on something. So I appreciate you hanging out I'm gonna wrap this up. That was my chakras. Remember, intentions, because it's still sitting up there. I never took it off. Be mindful of your intentions. Um, because the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Even with the best intentions, you can't be creating a hell for someone else. And also, when you make these mistakes, take a little time to give yourself a little grace. And that is one way to love on yourself a little bit more. So Thursday, if you can come out on YouTube, well, yeah, if you can find me on Facebook, it'll be on Facebook too. But it's definitely on YouTube and it'll definitely be on Twitch, the book club. And you can join us. We'll be on chapter 3. What are we reading? Their eyes were watching God, which is one of my favorite books of all time. So, if you would like your energy read, leave a comment and I'll reach out to you or shoot me an inbox. Or if you have any suggestions on books you would like to have somebody read to you, yeah, leave a comment, shoot me a message, shoot me an inbox, and we'll go from there. I added to the list. I already have several, one including Edgar Allan Poe. People are interested, so I definitely need some poetry too. I thank you for joining me. I thank you for your support. I thank you for everything you do. And I want you to know, keep on healing and one day at a time. And today, just for today, I will let go of anger. Thank you all.